Willie D Live.
Is that why so many of these dudes today, these really soft, crooked landing plane dudes, they get a lot of these women, these women are having sex with these dudes and having babies, but they immediately, after they get the baby, they gone.
Mm-hmm.
They're not staying with these dudes. They're procreating with them, but they're not staying with them. I do suspect that women, at the end of the day, I think all women, I could be wrong. Well, I ain't gonna say all women, but most women. I think most women like a man's man. I think most women like men who are aggressive, not necessarily domineering, but aggressive, who are hunters, who are men's man. And I see a lot of these dudes today, they got money, but they got women type ways.
Yeah.
They got ways like women. Some of them even dress like women. They dance like women. Some of them talk like women. They look like women. So that underscores the point that you were making.
See, it's a weird dynamic with a woman, and this is why I understand why men can't figure out what women want. I totally understand why men are confused about what women want, because women actually play both sides of the fence on what they want. Women actually have a delusion in their mind. They really are delusional. So, women actually like aggression. They do. That is from a biological point of view of an alpha male. See, an alpha male and an alpha man are two different things.
Exactly.
Okay. So an alpha male, we're talking about on an animalistic level, okay, how he can dominate other males physically. When we start talking about a man, we're talking about somebody who has mental control. Women don't like alpha men. They like alpha males. And the reason why women don't like alpha men is because alpha men have self-discipline. They have self-discipline and sexual control where they can't be easily manipulated by women. Women like weak men. Women like sexually weak men because the only power that a lot of women have over a man is sex. And if she can't get you to fall for her sex, she's going to get mad. Women don't like to be rejected. They don't. So coming up against an alpha male alpha man who's not going to be easily manipulated or dominated, that woman's not going to really deal with him. She will go to a alpha male who is sexually domineering, right? Because she likes to get smutted out. But she wants to deal with a simp to get her way because she wants somebody that's going to give him. But the alpha male is going to use her. He's going to drain her, but she's addicted to that thrill for him, right? She'll deal with an alpha man too if she feels like he's taking care of her, but ultimately she ends up dealing with a pimp in that regard. Because pimps have self-control, a lot of them, right? Because that's the only way that you can run a pimp game and be a high-level pimp is if you have self-control. So she'll gravitate to that type of guy. She'll gravitate to a more feminized man just so she can manipulate him and get her way, and she'll cheat with an alpha male. So this is the reason why a lot of men cannot understand what women want, because women don't know what they want. They gravitate to anything based on their emotions for the moment and their needs for that moment.
I know what women want. I'm one of the few men in the world that know what women want.
What's that?
Everything.
It's the truth. They want it all, which is the reason why sales and marketing campaigns typically gravitate to promote that you can have it all. If you got to sell a marketing campaign, because marketing is based on what people respond to, is really based on the human nature, responses by human natures and psychology. So they do a lot of psychological work to see what people will respond to. And what they found out is that women are greedy and they want to be the center of the universe. So we're going to market this to you to say that women can have it all. If you are about having it all, that shows how narcissistic you are. And there's no such thing as having it all, because you have to make compromises. You have to give up something to get something. You can't go left and right at the same time. So to market to somebody that they can have it all also tells them you can have your cake and eat it too. And women are doing everything in their power to find out how they can have their cake and eat it too. And so what I tell women, I say, you really want a woman in a man's body. So to be honest, since that's what you're looking for, what you need to do is just get you a trans man. But that's too much like right, ain't it? I mean, it's the truth though.
Yeah. What does a traditional family nucleus reimagined look like to you?
Okay. So if we want a functioning society, the truth about it is it takes a village to raise a child. And why does it take the village? Which means that you need an extended family unit, not a nuclear family unit. Because, see, a nuclear family unit creates a really dangerous dynamic for everybody, including the children, right? Extended family, you have the uncles, grandmothers, aunts, all of that really connected, which creates the village. Because after a certain age, the child begins to stop listening to the parents. They might take advice from other people, aunts, friends, and everything, but they won't listen to you. This is a natural rebellion process in child development, right? We understand that really the honest thing is the safest way and the most productive way for a man is to be working outside of the house, even if he's gone for extended periods of time, whether it be through the military, deployment, or truck driving. The male should be outside of the house because it's more conducive to his nature. But if there's a nuclear family setup, what ends up happening? If he's gone, the children are all on top of the mother, right, with no other line of support for her. So this runs her down because humans, we only have enough energy to expend. Well, if you leave a boy with a mother, there's a whole host of issues that can result from that male not being under a natural male dominance hierarchy, by him being disconnected from that. And by him being too connected to his mother can cause another whole host of problems psychologically for the male that will impede his development on the outside. How do you fix this problem? As opposed to sending them off, giving the mother a break by sending them to a public school or something, how do you combat that? Extended family and community support. Well, the problem is we live in an individualistic society now where everybody is an individual. You don't say nothing to my child, that's my son. You don't say nothing. Well, guess what? When we were growing up, on the whole block, everybody knew everybody. It was like we was family with our next door neighbors. So if one goes out, Sarah know what you're doing, Miss Jane know what you're doing, and everybody's got their eyes on you. So you can't hide and get away with nothing because they're going to call your mom and everybody's going to hold you accountable. With individuals now disconnected from each other, people just look, that ain't my child, and they turn their back. So when the child leaves the house, they know that they got free reign to do whatever they want because nobody in the community is going to hold them accountable. Right? So if we're going to have a fixed society, we have to bring back the extended family and we have to bring back community support, which means that we have to get back into grassroots work, grassroots politics. We have to get back into community schooling. Like, we too far gone as humans to even go back to what actually works. But nuclear family was never it. Nuclear family is part of the reason why all of the problems existed, because even during the World War, when the men had to leave, right? When the men left and went to the World War, all the women had to take all of these jobs. Well, when they came back, the men didn't really have a role. So what ended up happening, because prior to father, their identity being branded as being a father, they were actually being branded to be soldiers to go die in the wars. Once they came back injured, we needed to find something that we could do for the males because they came back from the war and there's nothing for them to do. So let's make them American dads now. Well, now this is a problem because now there is a psychological issue with the man where he doesn't know what he brings to the table. And now the woman is in there doing all of these duties. Now he feels inferior. Like this is a whole lot of issues. But on top of that, they birthed a whole lot of children that nobody knew how to develop and raise because most humans are not studying child development. They're not studying human psychology. So they're just trying things. And, well, I didn't like how this felt when I grew up, so I'm going to do my child differently. And I'm going to give my child everything that I didn't have, which ends up screwing up the child's nature. And there's nobody with an actual philosophy or a moral compass or code of ethics where they're all in the community rolling on the same philosophy that can reinforce what the parents teach. Everybody on their own thing now, and nobody knows what they're doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. That's one of the biggest reasons why we have so much chaos in society at large. And that's not just Black community, for those of you who are sitting back thinking they're talking about them. No. We're talking about American society because, to your point, we do not care about our neighbors. We don't love our neighbors. We don't love our neighbors' children. And they don't love us, and they don't love our children.
Right.
And this is why it's so easy for outsiders to come into the neighborhood and wreak havoc. This is why you have so many dangerous people who's seeking refuge in our communities who gets a pass. They're in the community, destroying the community. But they're treated like kings at times. They're treated like queens. And they're detriments to the community. They got to go. It don't matter, like, whether they, are black, white, or, they come from the inside or the outside. If you ain't helping, you're hurting.
Correct.
And so those who are hurting, they got to go. And we got to be okay with that. And that it also just to extend your point about extend some commentary on your point about people doing their own thing. We living in this individual or this individualistic society, right? We do the same thing when it comes to. We do the same thing when it comes to just getting out, right? Many of us who get out, we're kind of taught to get out and don't look back.
Correct.
Like, don't bring nobody with you. Like, get out. Just run far as run, as far as you can. And we're seeing the effects of it. And the trip part about it is that a lot of us are still asleep at the wheel. We don't know that.
Yeah, so it's almost to a point that no matter what you do, it's going to produce a problem because it's two sides to every coin, always. There's a pro and a con to everything that you do. And so even if you want to do community work, the reality that you got to come to is that you're dealing with a whole bunch of individuals that you have to inspire to make personal change who don't want to make personal change. And so then you have to say, okay, well, I'm going to just go at it alone. But if you go at it alone, now you disconnected from other people who you need networks with, right? So no matter what you do, it's almost another problem that's going to be created out of that situation. So the way I approach helping people, because it's really a humanitarian move that I'm making. I gave the example earlier to a group of people, and I said, if you break your arm, your wrist, or your toe, when you come to planet Earth, everybody's going to be hurt. It's inevitable that you're going to experience pain in this life. But if you break something and you let it heal on its own, it's probably going to heal incorrectly. And you might have to go to the doctor, and they see that your toe broke, but it healed incorrectly. What are they going to have to do? they're going to have to break it again and reset it in order for it to heal properly. Time heals all wounds, but they never said if it was going to heal properly or improperly. What you find is that people get broken in society and that they heal, but they heal improperly. And in order to fix people, you have to break them.